there's another guy here in the tournament, Matt Cardona. Obviously, he credits Cody Rhodes as the guy who kind of went out first and kind of set the blueprint, I think, for what wrestlers who leave and kind of find their own lane outside the company. But Matt's really certainly done it his own way as well. I mean, is he somebody that you guys have talked to or gotten advice from? Or, I mean, who are you leaning on as you're kind of making these decisions right now? I feel like there's some really smart people around at the moment.
Nobody.
Oh God.
Really?
Wow. No way.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Her and I were already. I'm just being honest, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Her and I were already thinking like this before we got signed, which is kind of like weird because then we got signed. Mm-hmm. We were already charting a course to be able to be creatively fulfilled and stable before like we went to WWE, and it's just weird how that winds up happening. So we just kind of resumed back to business as usual immediately after our term was done there.
We lived our lives as if we were never going to get signed, and we were going to be completely okay with it and still enjoy the indies. We like make a living, but the goal when we got to WWE was to be able to buy homes for our parents. Mm-hmm. To buy our first home. So that kind of long-term financial security for a family is what WWE was for. But as far as making a living on the independents, it's absolutely possible for anyone if you're willing to hustle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which do you prefer? Do you like the hustle being out there, or do you like being in the system? Like, which one do you have a preference, one or the other?
Me personally, there's pros and cons to both. I enjoy both, but I mean, I do like being busy, and I do like I like to be involved. I guess that's the best way to put it. Yes. I want to be directly and personally involved. I've never been shy of hard work. I don't mind losing sleep to enjoy, doing what I'm doing. However, if you're in the driver's seat and your seatbelt's on, but your foot's not on the gas and someone else's hand's on the wheel, that could be, very challenging. But I wouldn't complain about it. I knew what I was getting involved with, and that's just something that you need to be aware of. Once you step up to the big leagues, it's a big show. There's a lot of moving parts, and you don't get to just do whatever you want. So, not salty about it, but I mean, it's brutal when that happens. It's brutal when things go in that direction. But on the indies, I mean, we get to create and control whatever we want, and it's completely predicated off of what the audience wants live. So that's always awesome.
And financially, I mean, I'll just say it: we're making the same as a WWE main roster salary.
That's so surprising. Yeah, that's so surprising. I mean, you guys obviously are super hyper marketable in ways that other people aren't. But I mean, does that surprise you that you could do as well outside of WWE? I don't know. Like, it's kind of it surprises me a little bit. I don't know.
I knew we were going to be able to. I just didn't think it was going to happen this fast.
And I think we're actually busier now than we were before. 100%, we're busier. We're answering more emails, dealing with more contracts, dealing with contracts with television shows, movies. With his Twitch, me with my OnlyFans. Like, we are nonstop busy and hustling, but we have 100% creative freedom and no rules whatsoever to what we're doing.
Yeah.
So would you entertain a return then? Like, and kind of like looking at what Cody's doing right now, like he was able to retain some of his IP and stuff right now and come back, a little bit more on his own terms. Is that how you guys would envision a return having to be if you were to go back, something along those lines?
Not right now. And it would have to be creatively in the same lane as what we were doing, because we both feel like the fans didn't really get to see what we were doing in NXT on the main roster. Everyone wanted to see the entrance on main roster. They wanted to see the entrance at WrestleMania. They wanted to see us wrestle Alexa and Bray. That's what we wanted too. So it feels like we kind of feel unfinished when it comes to WWE. We understand everything with budget cuts, and we're not the type of people to sit at home and be sad about it. We weren't, not even for a minute, but we got to work immediately, and we're like, all right, well, what's next?
Yeah. I would entertain it under the right circumstances. Like, we're meeting thousands of people every single week at meet and greets or wrestling shows or signings or whatever we're involved with. And the most common thing that we get hit with face to face by people is like, they just feel like this thing we created for them never got paid off. And that's always really heartbreaking to hear. But they also know it's not our fault. Like, it's, this whole thing was kind of, driven off of a cliff. So if there was an opportunity to give people back what they want, it's not even necessarily what we want, but like people have been very, very vocal and very transparent that the presentation of the two characters and this thing that we brought to life was what they wanted to see. People we even joke about it with the mask and the suspenders and all that. I mean, that would have been a great character for somebody else who didn't have a character that was already previously carved out.
Correct. I agree with that. Yes.
You know what I mean? And so when I looked at it and assessed it, I thought, okay, well, maybe they want to make Halloween costumes. Going back to monetizing stuff and whatnot. They're just overlooking. They just want to put a fresh coat of paint on it because it's going up. And, I entertained it as best I could. And then when October rolled around, there was no Halloween costume. I said, okay, well, this could be problematic. But,
sure.
To go back for her and I, we'd have to be like absolutely certain that we're giving people something that they want and not doing something that somebody else thinks is a good idea that's going to blow up in everyone's faces and will be gone again.
Whatever we do, whether we go back or go somewhere else, it has nothing to do with the price tag. It has to do with enjoying what we're doing and feeling creatively fulfilled.
Yeah.
Because we're happy now, so we're good. So we want to balance. We want a good balance of our lives.
Yeah.